Welcome to the Mythical Legends Podcast. Commentary, essays, and author interviews using Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey as the foundation. All stories have heroes. How they got there is our journey. To poetically borrow from Carl Sagan, in order to write a story, one has to invent a universe. In order to have a hero, one has to write the story. Greetings from the vast landscape of somewhere. This episode will have two parts. The first part will be short. As you have guessed, I like Star Trek. I like Star Wars too, along with Firefly and many more. I like the old classics like the 1935-36 series Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers. Forbidden Planet and When Worlds Collide is up there. So is The Day the Earth Stood Still. Growing up as a latchkey kid, I had a lot of time on my hands. I filled the hours with TV. In future episodes, that simple declaration will become very evident, trust me. Now, in the first part, we'll break down a favorite Star Trek episode and relate it to the hero's journey. The second part will be a breakdown of the 9 steps or stages to the hero and the completion of that journey. Now, with that said, we'll start off with a quick breakdown of Mud's Women. This Star Trek episode first aired October 13th, 1966. It is the 6th episode of the first season and was written by Stephen Kindle. The story setup is that Haycourt Fenton Mudd, an interstellar con man who is wanted in several star systems, is transporting a cargo of female humans. He's on the run and is chased into an asteroid field by the USS Enterprise, commanded by James T. Kirk. The cargo ship's engines overload, and the occupants have to be transported aboard the Enterprise. This action destroys all but one lithium crystal circuit. One thing leads to another, and James T. Kirk is faced with negotiating with the miners on a planet that contains the crystals needed. It's the crystals for the women and Mud's freedom. Now, the second part of our episode will be a breakdown of the 9 steps or stages to the hero and the completion of the journey. So, what are you going to do after the game? Turn the TV on? Suppose I said there's a better way to entertain yourself. Reading. Yes, it's that simple. Reading works the brain differently than watching TV or listening to the radio. Adults who read have shown a better chance of staying mentally alert than those who don't read. Reading brings down stress and can make you feel better. Reading can also save you money. How much money does it cost to ride a roller coaster or see 3 movies? During that time, you could be entertained by reading. Do yourself a favor. Visit mythicallegends.com. That's mythicallegends.com. Click the bookstore link, scroll down and look through our selection of books. Click on a cover to read the blurb and first chapter. We offer hard copy and or ebooks. Kindle, check. Nook, check. iPhone, iPad, check and check. Reading. It really can make you feel better and save money. That's mythicallegends.com. By accepted definition, a hero is someone who shows exceptional skill and or courage in the face of some preconceived, approaching, immediate, imminent danger or emergency. A hero may be someone who overcomes an obstacle or stands firm in some belief or cause. However we define a hero, we feel it is someone who may be doing something that needs to be done or should have been done. It is this hero that is the capstone of the mythic and modern story. Star Trek is no exception in its development and presentation of the hero. But the question is, do we always recognize who the hero is? I asked myself this very question after viewing Mud's Women. A revelation is a sudden realization that perhaps one has been wrong from the beginning. It was such said revelation that I realized Kirk is not the hero in this episode. Using Campbell's archetypes as a guide, we immediately see the truth. Kirk is both the mentor and shapeshifter. It is Eve, one of Mud's women, who is the hero. By mythic definition and Eve's admission that she and the other 2 women come from places where there are no eligible men. They want something more than just being. Interestingly, Eve's journey on board the Enterprise is not the beginning of the story. Her encounter with Kirk is what is known as the belly of the whale. This is when the hero finally makes that transition between two worlds in self. Her flight through the asteroid belt was crossing of the first threshold. This first threshold was her leaving her known limits, that is the home planet, and venturing into an unknown and dangerous realm. The Enterprise, having rescued Mudd, Eve, and the other women, was the defining start of Eve's separation from her old self to a new self. Eve shows us she is ready to change. Eve's next phase is the initiation. This includes the road of trials, meeting with the goddess, woman as the temptress, atonement with the Father, and the ultimate boon. Eve seems to experience each part of the initiation phase. Her road of trials is punctuated by her refusal in denying the Venus drug's power. Eve is clearly torn between just being her natural self and her artificially enhanced self. She has fallen in love with Kirk and is confused as to which way to go. This is part of her road of trials. Eve also realizes she hates what the Venus drug does to her. In the end, she takes the drug. In the atonement with the Father stage, Eve finds herself further torn between her love for Kirk, love for self, and finding a better life. She plunges herself into the winds and sandblasts of Rigel 12, hoping to end her suffering. She is rescued by Chodrus, one of the miners, who has taken a deep liking toward her and brought back to his shelter. Eve is in between states now. She is at rest and begins to take stock of her situation. Eve has the ultimate boon near at hand. Chodrus begins to appreciate Eve as a person, but refuses to openly admit it. There is a period where Eve confronts Chodrus and the two argue. Kirk, Spock, and Mudd burst into the shelter. Chodrus steps away from Eve, declaring that he saved her and he has done nothing wrong toward her physically. Kirk and Chodrus argue about the subplot when Chodrus snaps, "No beautiful women, no crystals." Eve grasps the moment and inhales what she believes is the Venus drug. It is not. Mudd gave Eve colored gel instead. Eve enters the rescue from without, a stage that is part of the return phase, and lectures Chodrus on the true virtue of companionship and love. She transforms back into her beautiful state. Kirk tells Eve the gel she took was not the famed Venus drug. Mudd confirms this. Kirk, as a mentor, tells Eve that her beauty had been inside her. It was time to realize the truth. Eve does understand and enters into the Master of the Two Worlds stage. She is comfortable with herself. And finally enters the Freedom to Live stage. She accepts herself and decides to stay with Chodrus, who himself has gone through a brief and accelerated hero's journey, accepts her company. Kirk gets the crystals. Chodrus gets a competent and lovely companion. Eve gains her freedom to love herself, and Mudd, being a trickster throughout the story, gets justice. We are creators, driven by the need to create. Our days are consumed with thoughts, sounds, voices, and touches. We are creators, driven by the need to create. The things we see, hear, feel is beyond the norms of a mundane existence. The days and nights call to our ever-waking moment to expand our minds in a stream of wants, needs, must-haves, and have-to-dos. There is no escape from this torment. Deeper and deeper we fall, never reaching bottom, never reaching the top. We strive to be better, the harsh task of doing what we must. We are creators, driven by the need to create. We cannot stop or turn away. It is a drug that pains us to look away. The thoughtless will never understand our pain, suffering, joy, or pleasure. They step out in the daylight and still cannot see the things around them, the ideas, the thoughts, and passions that drive so many of us to insanity. The madness never stops, never calms down, never goes away. Awake or asleep, we are tortured souls tearing and pulling at the depths of our subconscious mind. We are creators, driven by the need to create. Our dreams pulsate bright and strong. Night is our domain, light is our yard. We see as far as light never travels, expanding out to never reaching. We cannot make it stop. We do not want to make it stop, and as long as our hearts beat and minds surge, we will go on and on and on, crashing through all that is before us, stomping out the unimportant, the unknowing. We are the sun and the moon and everything around and through. We are creators, driven by the need to create. Our existence betrays the meaning of our life, grasping at tenuous dots on a plane of dimensional expanse, never full, always empty, hungry, thirsty, never satiated. We are creators, driven by the need to create. Nothing will stop us. Nothing can stop us. Nothing dares stop us. We are creators, driven by the need to create. Understand this declaration. We make our stand in the absence of substance. We are the ones who fills the vast land of somewhere with all that is important, meaningful, purposely defined. Hear us now and forevermore. You fear us, you want us, you crave us, you need us. The few that gives you the reason to stay up all night, staring into the bright light of meaningless, looking for that reason to convince yourself that it is meaningful. No, we have not gone too far. We are just getting started. The path is clear, and we see the lines. We are creators, driven by the need to create. We are creators, shall and always be. We are creators, and we live forever. In The Hero of a Thousand Faces, Joseph Campbell presented data that shows that many popular stories, regardless on how old or how long ago the stories were created, they all have similar structures. The mythic structure, or monomyth, has a fairly predictable plot structure. What also stands out is that there are repeating characters, known as archetypes. Specifically, gender, race, or character age is not paramount. From the standpoint of a writer, an archetype helps tell what the role each character has within the story. The majority of the time, characters within a mythic or monomythic structure will be one of 8 types: hero, mentor, ally, herald, trickster, shapeshifter, guardian, or shadow. The hero has 2 roles. The obvious role is to be, the hero. The character that beats the bad guys, overcomes personal, natural, and artificial obstacles, rescues folks, and risks life, limb, and injury to right some wrong. What is not explicitly stated is that the hero is also the tour guide for the story. The hero allows the reader, listener, and viewer to experience the entire aspect of the story, beginning, middle, and end. The audience has a front row seat while the hero journeys through the adventure. Without the hero, there is no story. The journey from what the hero used to know to be comfortable within is destroyed while the hero enters a new world of lots of unknowns and uncertainties. No other character can do that, not from beginning to end. Any protagonist may be the hero. Luke Skywalker is the main hero, but Han Solo is also a hero. The two shared many of the experiences during the first movie. Both, in the end, gave themselves permission to live. Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz follows the classic mythic story arc. We'll mention her hero's path now. A call to duty, meeting with the mentor, crossing the threshold, test allies and enemies, approach to the inmost cave, the ordeal, reward, the road back, resurrection, and return with the elixir. As incredible as you may think, Darth Vader follows the hero's journey. Though it can be argued that while in the end Vader eventually made it to the road back and the resurrection, he sowed chaos, death, and destruction across the unknown Star Wars galaxy. We'll further investigate that in future episodes. And for now, the important thing to take away is that there are many aspects to the hero's journey. Writers who are keenly aware of the power of structuring a story as mythically epic as possible will have a better chance in having the audience buy into the hero's plight and better relate. Paul Atreides from Dune, Reddick from the Chronicles of the Reddick series, the kids in Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, Arthur Dent from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Alright, let's start with the first step, the call to adventure. This is a step that sets everything into motion. The purpose of the call to adventure is to disrupt the hero's mundane, predictable, maybe boring life. It's supposed to throw all the hero understands out the window. The call to adventure may be anything. The last words of a dying man, the wrong death of someone innocent, death of someone loved, the imminent destruction of Earth, as in the Hitchhiker's Guide. Sometimes the call is delivered by a herald archetype. Other times the call comes in successions of situations and their cues. However way the call occurs, the hero is typically left with one choice or possibly two conflicting choices. Next is the refusal of the call. There are many reasons why a person may refuse to act. Fear, insecurities, guilt, shame, pride, a promise. The refusal is essential. It tells the audience that the stakes are high. Risk of failure, whether it be injury or death, is very possible, if not absolute. The audience will only believe the adventure is worth watching if the hero has a chance of failing. And through refusing until the point the hero has no option but to accept, will the audience be convinced the story is worth investing some time. Usually the hero is never prepared to face the challenge of the adventure. The obstacles are too great, the villain is too strong, and the stakes are too high. The hero may even fail on an initial attempt at following through with the adventure. The hero needs a mentor. The mentor may come in many guises: a person, an object such as a book or map, an action from a person as in a physical push or a personal sacrifice. The mentor may be something told or ingrained in the hero, such as a code of honor or duty. The whole purpose of the mentor is to either help the hero with the adventure, teach the hero how to finish the adventure, or show the hero what it takes to succeed in the adventure. Now the next stage is crossing the threshold. This stage is where the hero has committed to the journey. The hero's once ordinary life is gone. Crossing the threshold may require the hero to completely abandon the previous life as well as walk away from friends and loved ones. The action has to be final. Once the threshold has been crossed, turning back is impossible. Now, test, allies, and enemies is usually next. Once taking a step past the threshold, the hero must encounter test. This is an important stage for the hero and the audience. The test may come in the form of discovering who the allies and enemies are. Accepting the hand from someone may turn out to be a fatal mistake for those around the hero, but the audience has to believe the hero is not immune to death and may be one heartbeat away from death. Next is the approach to the inmost cave. This is the stage that allows the hero to prepare before entering the heart of the journey. The hero, alone or with allies, prepares for the ordeal. This is the stage just before presumed imminent failure and or death. Equipment check, plans confirmed, instructions understood. Once past this stage, there is no turning back. The ordeal. This is the moment of truth. This is the succeed or fail moment, and if failed, all is seemingly lost. Death and destruction may be all around the hero. Allies die, the mentor dies. The hero may have made a mistake and miscalculated, resulting in the utter, total epic failure. It is this stage that pushes the hero to the limit. Even in complete failure, the hero must find a way to correct things. This is the stage that defines why the audience bought into the hero's journey. Now, reward. As it sounds, this is what the hero has been after. The reward could be defeating the boss of all bosses. The hero may have saved the world. The war ends, the magic gem had, or death is avoided. After this stage, the hero must journey back to the ordinary world. Now, the road back is the stage the hero commits to completing the journey. Like any story, there is an end. There has to be some completion, otherwise the audience and hero are left unsatisfied and unfulfilled. Of course, there are more journeys that will follow, but this is the one that must end. The reward may be the very last piece to complete the adventure. In the Last Crusade, the reward was to use the cup Jesus drank from to safely consume the water of life. With Star Wars, The Last Hope, the reward was Luke trusting the Force to make that highly impossible shot that would destroy the Death Star. In the resurrection stage, the hero is finally able to face the ultimate challenge. The protagonist has reached hero status and now has the means to fulfill destiny and complete the journey. In The Last Hope, Luke makes the shot. In Star Trek's The Voyage Home, it is the Enterprise re-emerging back to the proper timeline to release George and Gracie, who are the rewards, into Earth's ocean. Typically, this stage may be the last defining conflict. New allies may appear to help at the last minute, but in the end, it is usually the hero who delivers the killing blow or is able to help secure the last blow. The last stage, return, with the elixir, is when the journey has been completed. The hero is able to return to an ordinary life until the next call to adventure comes. There may be some ambiguities on whether the journey has truly been completed. This is the stage where the audience walks away with a better understanding of the hero and an appreciation on what the hero sacrificed to complete the journey. I do hope you enjoyed this episode. There are many ways you can support us. Like the episode where possible, subscribe to our channels, and spread the word. Mythical Legends Podcast is brought to you by mlen.tv. That's MLEN.tv. That's the Mythical Legends Entertainment Network and Mythical Legends Publishing. MythicalLegends.com. Check out the Mythical Legends Publishing website for announcements, events, and of course our books. Until then, J. Carell Jones signing out.